Welcome back, Bruins fans. Uh, Boston were able to get it done against the Arizona Coyotes. A game we should have won, definitely, looking at these records. Scoreline was pretty close, and there were moments where, as a Bruins fan, you were a little bit worried going in this game, especially moments at the end of the third period. Um, but I guess those moments of panic we can draw some positives out of, and Olmark to look really, really solid and good in net tonight. The only goal he let in was not his fault, and he made a good try on it. And this performance gives me hope moving forward, and him coming in on that Carolina game too, give me hope moving forward that he can be our anchor in net moving forward. But that's a point for maybe later on. Um, let's talk a little bit. We've got some other points we can talk about later as overall points. But let's just jump right into the game and start off and what actually happened in this one. Puck drops. As has happened in a couple games recently, there's an early penalty and Boston go on the power play. So nothing really amounts from this, but it's really easy for Boston to build some early momentum off an early power play. And that's really dangerous for a team like Arizona to come out and take a penalty so early. Even if Boston don't score on it, it sets a bad precedent to start the game. The goal does come with about 7 minutes left in the game. Eric Holla takes a nice feed. Eric's positioned up with a little gap between the defender and the back checking forward as the puck bounces off another Arizona player's shin pad. Pasternak picks it up, does a nice little move between his skates, dishes it to Holla as he did have a lane to shoot, but sees Holla has that perfect spot in Broadway, gives him a beautiful pass. Puck ends up in the back of the net. That's the type of synergy this second line is developing that makes them so dangerous in transition. A lot of speed between Hall and Pasternak, and then Hall is gritty and able to glue those two together. It can be very, very good. I'll talk a little bit more of the lines later. But with 2 minutes left, Arizona have a big answer, and I want to highlight this goal actually because it gives me some reason to think this team is completely doomed. I got to be really careful how I show this for copyright and all that, but I'm no lawyer. If you cover it over, copyright doesn't exist or something. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this like moment to moment. But the puck comes over to this name's hard to say with my list, but Gothspear, and he has a really good shooting opportunity right here from Broadway. It's going to be a clean look for Olmark, though, and there's a good chance you're not going to beat him without a tipper screen in front. This is a really good goalie we're going against. What does he do, though, as a defenseman? He shows great poise and patience. Gets the defenseman to bite just a little bit too much, sprinting over into position. I really like the Boston square before. This has just pulled it just a little bit out of position. And then this beautiful dish. That's a brilliant pass. Omar's maybe aware of it. You can see his head is kind of looking towards it here, but it just beats him on the hip right there. It's a fantastic goal. I really, really enjoyed the poise and patience right there from Gothspear. He understands the back check's coming, but it's late. He understands he's got a clean look, but he can create a seam pass and get a beautiful chance. I just really wanted to highlight that pass. I really enjoy plays like that. That seam pass was to Schmaltz, and it just beats Olmark on the hip. So that was great from Arizona, and it gave them a lot of momentum to come back because they answered Boston's goal maybe 5 minutes later, and they could have momentum to press with. Wouldn't get any result with it, but it would end the first period 1-1. Arizona can take a lot of positive from that, giving up an early penalty, but weathering the storm, and then having the momentum coming into the second. Boston like to come out with a lot of jump though, and like to lead with lines that give them jump. The third line lately has been on a tear. It was the fourth line for a little bit, for a couple weeks, maybe a couple weeks ago, but now the third line has really found some synergy as Jake DeBrusk and Oscar Steen are really fast, young, tenacious wingers, and then Charlie Coyle is anchoring them in the middle with a really strong 200-foot game, defensively responsible, and that's important. He's gotten some points in recent games, but he's so defensively responsible. That's important on that line with the young wingers. What the third line has done really well that I've liked a lot from them is obviously their energy and jump, but also how they're playing the game. They're not afraid to get behind the enemy red line and work from there. Play a full 200-foot game. It's given Jake DeBrusk specifically a lot of opportunities to walk out in front from behind the goalie's net, wraparound attempts, or just feeding the puck out in front for rebounds or just pucks to dangerous areas of the ice is good. That would give the Bruins a little bit of momentum as the pressure ebbed and flowed in this game really well. It was quite exciting to watch. The pressure would end for Boston with a Pastrnak classic one-timer that was saved by Wedgwood. Ullmark and Wedgwood versus in net. You should know that. Should have said that earlier. Sorry, but that would be the end of the pressure for Boston, and then Arizona would come back on a 2-on-1. That would happen more than once this game. That I think both teams need to shore up, but is more worrisome for Boston, where they're ahead, is when you give up, when you have a big opportunity at one end, you don't instantly give up another big opportunity the other way. But you understand that's how it kind of happens, because to force a big opportunity one end, you're committing a lot offensively, and then your resources are lacking in defense. Boston were back checking pretty well though this game, um, but you shouldn't have to be back checking, right? That's dangerous. It means you've potentially made a mistake or you're out of position a little bit. At the end of that pressure for Boston, at the end of the Arizona 2-on-1, there's some Krause and Carlo words. It doesn't really end in anything, but you could signal that the game was ramping up in energy, ramping up in pressure. Part of that frustration, I think, was coming from Boston looking for the perfect entry into the offensive zone or the perfect exit, or the perfect breakout from their own zone. A little bit too much. Maybe overthinking the pass or forcing the pass when it shouldn't have been done. Sometimes the simplest play is just high and hard off the glass. Other times it's sending the puck in deep behind the enemy defenseman and then setting up a really strong forecheck. Um, But you have to have the nice combination of the two, right? You have to be able to have a competent breakout and break in so that the other side of the game is facilitated. So the enemy can't just play one side of the game. Boston would go on another power play. I can't remember who on the Coyotes took a. Yeah, I don't see penalty minutes. I can't remember who took the penalty, but it was just a tripping play on a really good back check by Bergeron, McAvoy, and Steen after Steen whiffed on a puck in the offensive zone. So it's kind of the thing I'm talking about when they're having a chance on one end, giving up a big one the other way. That one wasn't so much of a chance, more of a whiff, but you know what I'm saying. That power play is really, really dangerous. Um, Arizona needs to learn their lesson, like right here, that they need to stop taking silly penalties. Boston would go on the power play. McAvoy would bury on that power play, just walk in. Really love to see him have the confidence to take steps forward with the puck into the offensive zone and let it rip. Sometimes when he does, he'll immediately step it back and then look to either dish to Pastrnak or Marchand on either side on that power play. But when he is in the middle and has the confidence to walk up like Cale Makar does on Colorado, adds a whole nother dimension to the Bruins power play that we were seeing last year in the playoffs just a little bit. He's a really young player, and if he can be unlocked to his full potential, if Hedman, Makar, and Fox were in the league, he'd been 10 straight Norrises. But anyways, that Rister McAvoy places really well through a screen, beats Wedgwood. It's 2-1 Bruins. Arizona then go on the power play. So after Boston go up a goal, they take a penalty. Riley, an interference call. It was it's whatever. Push it from your mind. Arizona have a great power play though. Kessel has a good one-time look. He fans on a second opportunity close to the net, but a really, really good power play by Arizona where they're looking to generate second opportunities in front. And that's kind of the thing I talked about with the third line doing behind the enemy net. It allows them to get more second chances when they're willing to play 200 feet of the ice. Forecheck really hard. You get second chances, you force turnovers. Kind of like how the first goal for Boston happened. Pastrnak forced a turnover or kind of got a bouncing puck that was near an Arizona player, made a move, dished it to Dalla. At the end of the second period, with about 3 minutes left, Boston looked to go on a 4-minute power play, which would have been really, really dangerous. 4-minute power play with 3 minutes left in the period. So you're going into the third period with a full minute left too on your power play. Thankfully for Arizona, it gets overturned due to video review. A stick comes up and hits Bleed in the mouth, and he's bleeding. It's not been his month. He's gotten the worst of it. The hockey plays. He took a really bad hit from Wilson, not like a dirty one, just an open ice big smack. And he got bloodied up in this game. Turned out to be McAvoy's stick. So Arizona don't have to suffer through 4 minutes of Boston's power play. Um, and that's really good. Unfortunately, bad news for comes for them when Lazar crashes the net and makes contact with Wedgwood. This was a bit of an irresponsible play from Lazar. He was just streaking up the wing, tries to get body position on the defenseman, and the defenseman doesn't give it to him. So he ends up like basically ramming into Wedgwood. As he takes contact, he makes contact into Wedgwood. Some people might try and say that because he got hit right before he hit Wedgwood, it's not his fault. But he took contact and then instantly made contact into what I don't know. It was the type of play that in his mind sounded really good and it seemed really good. And he's seen players like Carson Kuhlman or Jake DeBrusk make these types of plays before where they're charging it on the net. And the coaches are definitely telling him, hey, Lazar, you've scored goals from this dangerous area of the ice before. Like, don't be afraid to get in there and go do it. And then when he does it, he ends up making contact with the goalie. Dumb penalty. Arizona go on the power play. Uh, yeah, unfortunate. So, but it's one of those power plays that I don't love as the person on attack because you have 26 seconds of a power play, and then you have a full period intermission, and then you have another minute and a half on a power play. If you lose that opening faceoff on the opening dot, they can kill like another 30 seconds of that. So you only really get like a minute and 20. I don't love it because it's a free break for the penalty killers, and it kills your momentum and flow in the offensive zone. On a 4 minute one, it'd be different, but 2 minutes, that kind of sucks. In the third period, let's go Bruins chants started breaking out in the Arizona building. This is just petty as anything, but I find it funny and enjoy it as a Boston Bruins fan, or I imagine Maple Leafs fans enjoy it as well when they're an original six team in in an opponent's barn, with not a huge fan base like Florida a couple of years ago or something like that, and you hear your own fans generating a lot of energy for you. I hope they can build off that. I hope that's really uplifting for them to hear. Um, there was a fight, McAvoy and who. I have just Roussel. I don't think it's Kessel. Yeah, I think it was Roussel. I think Roussel they go. It was a double minor for Roussel on this one. Instigating penalty. McAvoy just serves two, so Boston get a nice power play. This is where the game started to get away from Arizona, though. You can see that their tension and the frustration is starting to wane on them just a little bit. So there's a fighting penalty. And then right after, they take another penalty as Kraus trips Marchand or cross checks him on the hip. As Marchand is spinning away from him, gets body position, Kraus ends up cross checking him and takes penalty for it. Bit of frustration from Arizona and kind of letting the game get away from them. They need to be playing this game 5-on-5 or at a man advantage, not putting themselves at a man disadvantage down a goal. And it's an instigating fighting major is not the right type of penalty. Like if you want to take a fighting major, sometimes it can be good to get energy building for your team. The instigating penalty is really going to kill you though. You can't jump them essentially. Um, After this power play, though, this kill, Arizona start to come alive. I think the kills give them some life in this game because we started to see more of those chances where it's a chance on one side and then instantly another chance flying down the other way. That's really going to help teams that are behind in the game. So what happens? Arizona chaos and Boston blue line ice, and then Boston are going the other way looking for second opportunities. Jake DeBrusk and Haller are robbed by Wedgwood, and then Arizona can't bury on the same type of chance where they're streaking back the other way. This signals the start of a bunch of pressure and aggression by Arizona, but Olmark stays strong, and Arizona aren't allowed to buy one. Olmark's not open for business. He stays very strong, has a nosebleed in the middle of the last like 3 or 5 minutes of the game. Gets that clogged up, stays strong, and he did a little celebration with the very last save of the game. If I can find that on the highlights or whatever, I'll do a little overlay here. Hopefully not to get copyrighted again, and also because it's really important to him, right? That last save was really important to him because he celebrated making it. That is really that's a kind of like character read I'm making for him, but he is excited to be here. He is excited to be putting on this type of performance and wants to be our #1 goalie. He's earned it. There's rumors Olmark's starting the next game against Dallas on Sunday. I don't know. Obviously, could be Swayman. There's rumors Rask is hurt. So go Bruins. Glad to see Olmark's playing really well. Hope Rask finds his form. That's all for this game. A couple overviewing points that I want to hit on. Pasternak points, doing really, really well in January. Hopefully, he can continue that into the rest of 2022. Our back checking was really strong, but we're giving up a few too many odd man rushes. Don't be focused on the perfect entry or playing the perfect game. Keep it simple. Don't panic. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Boston. Great job. See you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, Dallas Sunday. I'll be covering that one as well. Have a good one.